All right, we're back again, Bucks and Brews. It's been like 2 minutes since we talked to Mike, but for some of you, it's probably been at least a day or a week or something. Whenever I upload this, who knows?
Could be a month.
Could be. We'll see what happens. So we're going to be joined by Vanessa tonight. She's was number 2 of our debt episode series, and we're going to kind of talk about where she's at. Since talking to her in mid to late November. While we're at it, I'm going to go with Atwater's Dirty Blonde. And then my friend Nick here was very nice to share a banana bread beer from Eagle Brewing, which used to be Wells. Nick, what you got?
Oh, tonight's episode is brought to you by Bud Light, followed by Bud Light. So, very excited to be drinking Bud Lights tonight. The only thing that would make it a little better is some fresh lime, squeeze it in there, call it a day. But I don't have a bartender to tip, so if I don't tip to get greatness, I'm not going to give it to myself,
Hey,
Mike's got some fun
if
stuff.
I'm ever there with you, I'll cut the lime for you.
There you go.
If you're going to tip me.
You're going to pour it and put the lime in it all day.
Another gig job.
Factual statement.
Hey.
Mike, what you got? You got fun stuff.
Well, I'm definitely starting with Oddside Ales Peanut Butter Cup Stout.
That sounds delicious.
I've already started with it. Tastes good. If I decide I need more, I'm copying a cart from David, which is a Roque Brewing French Toast Devil Dog Oatmeal Stout.
Delicious.
Don't say if you decide you want more. Just guarantee you want more. That's a great beer.
I probably will if it's on long enough.
I mean, when do we ever
I
go
mean,
short?
the only thing I have to do tomorrow is go to work. So, yeah.
Who cares about work?
Overrated.
And then if that finishes, I have a coconut vanilla Java porter from Atwater Brewery.
If you don't finish that, bring it up here and I'll finish that one for you because that sounds.
It'll get finished whether I drink it tonight or whether I drink it this weekend.
Well, I mean, I'll be up here this weekend. Just bring it and I'll finish it. That's perfect. Vanessa, what are we drinking?
Crystal Light in my Wonder Woman cup.
Ooh, I like Wonder Woman.
Fancy.
So we had 2 episodes planned tonight all along. So Vanessa, I'd asked you if you could come on earlier because the other guy that was supposed to join us bailed on us like 2 hours before showtime.
Oh, yeah. See, we had what we referred to as a dinner disaster.
Okay.
And so I didn't get done eating until like 7:15 tonight. So
Hey, that happens. I love dinner disasters because it always turns out to be taco night.
Taco night's a good night. I got
Every
tacos at
night.
home.
Well,
Every night taco
if we
night.
had stuff ready for tacos, it would have been okay, but we
Nope.
didn't.
No, we don't need to have stuff ready. There's taco places right around the corner. I mean, I know where
Well-
you live. There's a taco place somewhere down there.
Well,
Makes you
I
feel
ended up
better, Nick.
going
I've had
to
tacos 3 nights in a row.
Waterville for chicken coop because my husband doesn't really do fast food. That's like the best he'll do. So yeah. Anyway,
Let's be honest. Again, I would have went to Maria's. We talked about this last. Like
He did.
actually last week took a special trip. Went down to
He did.
went down to South Haven with the Maria's. What a
We talked about it on last week's episode. One of the 2 of them.
yeah. So just what a fantastic meal. So
I'm gonna update you real quick
oh
on my house payment bullshit.
this guy.
So I told them I'm canceling this house payment thing. So I went with the suggestion to have a company pull the payments automatically so they could just make them one thing out of my hands I don't have to deal with. Rob gave me the lowdown. This is what's going to happen. I'm like, great. They screw it up.
Really?
So I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm going to make my payment myself because I know how to make a payment on time and they obviously do not. So I talked to them. They've canceled everything. They will not withdraw another payment out of my account.
Okay.
So I log into my account on Friday. Guess what?
There's a payment not taken.
It's
withdrew it.
$500 less than what it should be.
Oh jeez.
And now I'm pissed. I send the girl I'm working with an email and I'm nice to her. I'm not nice to the guy, but I'm nice to her. And she's like, I will look into this. And like 2 hours later, I get an email. She goes, there's nothing I can do. I'm so sorry, but I processed it back to you. You'll have it by Tuesday. Sure enough, I did have it today. And according to her, it will not happen again.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens in a couple weeks here.
It's funny to me because
If it happens again, you can be mad at her. you knew she wasn't at fault the last time, so you didn't
Correct.
blame her, which is nice. That's a good thing of you.
Yes. I
You
did not
don't
blame
sit
her,
there
but
and blame people who aren't actually at fault.
I will literally lose my shit next time they do this again.
Oh, say I have two stories.
Mhm.
One is a reason of who I am. First, everybody gives me crap because I'm old school, right?
Yep.
We talk about it all the time.
You like cash and
I go to the bank, I
Yep.
pay my bill, I get my receipt on the spot. Like, first time I got with, so Chase bought 7 of my mortgages or something.
Yep.
So I go there with a wad of cash and I pay my bill. Like, right? I walk in and there it is.
and they're
So-
taking pictures of you like you're a dinosaur.
Oh, it's great, dude. The lady's like, "Oh, mortgage time," and I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Like, why else would I be here, right?" I
Right.
mean, but the first time it happened, they made 6 payments, okay, and they doubled up one of them.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
I get a thing. Like, I've never missed a payment. I'm like Mr. Paid on the first.
Yep.
I'm getting better. I haven't paid my mortgages yet, and I have till the 15th, but I haven't paid my mortgages yet. Okay.
It's
So-
almost 48 hours.
yeah. So, but I get this email. Hey, you've missed a
Should
payment.
switch hats.
Blah blah blah. And so I call like instantly. Like, I don't even know what time at night. I call and I'm just reaming people out. I was like, I don't miss payments. I was in there physically. Go watch your cameras. I'm talking to Chase, and so they're nowhere local, and they're like, oh, so you didn't make a $2,000 payment on this one? Let me get this right. I made minimum payments all over here, and you think I doubled up just randomly on this one and said, fuck that one. And she's like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like,
You think?
wow, good. Thanks for noticing. And she's like, so this will get fixed. It won't ding your credit. And I was like, why would you say stupid? Like, of course it won't ding my credit because you messed up. Like, don't even think that there's any possibility that it would have done this. Like, I'm going to come through this phone. I'm just so mad. So, but I do, like, I want that printed out, exact everything of like where things are. I want to hold people accountable, right? Because I think people need to be held more accountable than what they are. Like,
Yeah, you're not
I
wrong.
don't want to owe the machine malfunction like you had. I mean,
Oh yeah.
this happened. So, but we're talking about, customer service and things. So I have a property where I have a duplex. We have one gas meter there. Now it's a duplex. So put a second furnace in. Called DTE. They're supposed to come out last Thursday to put a gas meter in. Well, get a call. Hey, there's a huge gas outage in Grand Rapids. We canceled everybody. They're all on site. Okay. We'll be out Friday. Okay. Well, we'll be out Friday between this time and this time. Okay. Friday comes. I don't hear anything.
Yep.
Cool. Like, it's all taken care of. Tenant goes to move in Monday. Hey, I don't have any heat.
Yep.
What are you talking about? I drive over there. Guess what's not there? A gas meter. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I call and it's 10 to 5 or something like that. And the lady's like, oh yeah, it didn't happen Friday. Like, nobody, I was like, okay, why? I don't have any reason. The technician didn't say. I was like, well, call your technician, figure this shit out. Like, I don't have time for this. Well, it's not how it works. And I was like, no, it's how it works. You hold somebody accountable for the job they didn't do. Oh, okay. Well, the best I can do is get you on the schedule I want the first available tomorrow. No, we're already booked for tomorrow. So you can have Wednesday between. I'm like, oh my gosh, like your company, like you're such a large company that you don't care about. I can't go with anybody else besides DT. Like, it's not like there's another gas company that just randomly is out there. I mean, it's insane, like how much the service just absolutely sucks. So,
and they know it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because that's who it is.
Needless to say, is I kept my calm for who I am as a person, because normally I would
have lost it.
I would have put that person into tears and just told them that how I really felt.
Yep.
But I didn't. Proud of me because she's just doing a job to get paid. And
yeah, it's not her fault.
Really is gonna go nowhere with her life.
Yeah.
I mean that in the meanest way. No, she's probably doing great. But sorry, I'm such an angry person when people like when people don't hold themselves accountable for things. Like, it's like my biggest pet peeve, right? Like, even today, like I have an owner that I am doing some management for, and a tenant moved in and he got charged for snow plowing and stuff, and he's talking, we had a big winter, and I was like, man, like, yeah, of course they went out and plowed, they did all this. And I was like, he goes, yeah, but I had a tenant there and I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't cancel the snow service when it was a single family. Like you're absolutely correct. Like took responsibility. Like that is completely on me. I'm like, you shouldn't have that bill if the tenant moved in at this. I will look at the date, prorate. I will do it. Like that is completely my fault. I'm sorry. Like I owe you $100, right? Like, and it's, hey, no big deal, but we're gonna do this and this, and like now I have it set in stone. Like next year, this is my philosophy of how I'm gonna handle things because I shouldn't. I mean, I'm dealing with a lot, but like there shouldn't be an excuse for that type of action.
Well, we talk about accountability, and we have it here all the time.
Yeah.
So, case in point, Friday we have a 9:30 appointment. They show up at 9:45.
Yeah. So
And
they have a 9:45 appointment for 10 minutes.
basically, yeah. So I'm in the back cleaning. I hear the doorbell go off. I wait a couple minutes. I walk up there. By this point, my wife's been called a pendejo at least 5 times.
Yeah.
So she's stupid because this idiot came in and it's a 25-minute appointment. I get 25 minutes. What are you talking about? 10 minutes. She goes, yeah, you get 25 minutes from 9:30. That's 9:55. And the more you argue with me, the less time you get.
Yep.
And people just don't seem to understand that. Hey, it's not my fault you showed up late.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear that you went to the wrong place either, because that doesn't matter to me. It's 3 minutes down the road.
Mhm.
So
You have a big.
sorry about your luck.
You have a big sign on the door that said, "We've moved to
Yeah.
this location."
Yeah,
It's weird how that works.
it is crazy as hell.
So we're getting off topic like we always
We
do.
are.
But
This
Vanessa,
happens.
we're here for you. We want to hear about you. All right. Mainly, I really want you to put me in my place. That's what it is. So those of you that are watching, those of you that are listening. Okay. So we have Vanessa on. She runs over her stuff and she talks about going out to eat and how she needs to cut some things and do a few
And she
things.
cut a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she did great. But then, right, we become Facebook friends because I'm gonna hold people accountable and I'm gonna call you up. So she writes up, she goes, "Oh, just doubled my food budget for whatever. This is gonna last." And I was like, "That's not how this works." And she goes, "Oh, it's a bet." And I'm like, perfect. Like, one, I either look like an idiot, or two, like I've made this person successful because it's going to go one of two ways, and I'm okay with either because it doesn't financially impact my life.
Forgot about that.
I'm glad.
Oh, here we go.
I'm glad you're
But I
holding
didn't.
people accountable on Facebook because again, Zuckerberg's an asswipe, and I'm barely on Facebook because he can suck it.
To be honest, I will go to Meijer at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Picking up little things here and there. When you made that deal, I did not go to the store for an entire week. It was like 8 days. And when I went, I had a specific list of the things we were out of. I went in, got it, and got out. That was it. I have been, and I sent David an update. Remember I sent you my update from my bank? I've been doing very good. I can say that.
There you go. That's awesome. No,
She has some definite wins. We have a couple setbacks, but we have some definite wins with Vanessa.
I say, and we're always gonna have there's things in life that you're gonna get that's ooh shiny. That's I want this, and we all have those small little cravings for something. I mean, I'm doing it with Bud Light. I mean, so all right.
So let's talk about some wins.
Let's talk about some wins, but let's figure out exactly where we were.
Okay.
And figure out what the wins we had along the way. So where were you financially back then? I mean, so you were just starting to kind of document everything, right?
Well, she was about 2 months in.
Yep.
Yep.
So have we kept on track with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I still document everything. I have a Excel spreadsheet color coded for every month, and every detail that goes in and out of my bank account is on this Excel spreadsheet. I account for everything, and then I tally it up on the side. So I have a running tally. So if I buy groceries, I enter it, and then under my grocery category, I enter it over here. So I know exactly what I spent every month on every category.
That's huge.
You know how I love spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I'm so excited when she says spreadsheets. Like that's financial porn for me.
So we've kept with that. I mean, and I know you had a couple credit cards, right?
Yep.
So I think it was an Amazon
and Disney.
Disney.
Amazon,
Yep.
Disney.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about those, see where those are kind of a little bit. let's see if we can fill people in with a few more things. So we have, she's budgeting, writing it down physically, a
Yep.
couple credit cards. You had, was it student debt?
Yep.
Or
Student debt, yep.
a brand new car.
Yep.
And a brand new car. It will be exactly 1 year on the 18th of March that I've had my RAV4.
Okay, so people now know a little bit about kind of what your debt is, a little background. So now let's talk about a couple victories real quick. What do we got here?
Well, last month I sent David a screenshot from my bank, and it said, it was like I have Huntington, and it kind of gives me some budgets and some snapshots, and it said that my overall spending was down 30%.
That is huge. All right, so anybody that needs help with budgeting a little bit, wow, this is huge. So anybody that needs help with like
Minus 33% change.
we don't support any banks on here. We don't do anything, but like if that's a feature that Huntington's doing, like people, if you're just looking to see, hey, did I confirmation that you're doing the right thing? I mean, that's huge. 30%. That is
And
big
it will
boy money.
they will, you can set up your own budgets within your account and designate how much you want to go in there, and they will send you text alerts and emails and say, hey, you are at 50% of your budget of this for this month, or you are only have $20 left of this budget.
Sure.
The only thing that I don't like about it is you can't categorize it yourself. So if I go to Meijer and I spend $100 and 50 of it is food and 50 of it is like clothing, they're going to put it all under food.
Sure.
So but it does give you an idea of where you're at. I mean, if you're not paying attention and you're just kind of going through life, it does give you a snapshot of where you're at. And,
Sure.
and if you have a savings budget, it will say, hey, you have saved this much of your goal.
No, that's great. So I mean, I think Mint does pretty much.
Yeah, Mint does some of that.
You can kind of put things, but as you said, like I don't even think Mint, like once you have like a Meijer thing, it's not going to let you split it into 50-50. Like every transaction is its own. So that's great. 30%. That's a huge victory.
That is huge.
I'm going to drink to that. So yeah. But all right, what's another victory that we have?
When we got the last stimulus, my husband and I split it. I gave him, and actually he allowed me to spend, so we each got 600 and then 600 for our son. He only took 300 of his 600, and I put the rest towards the Amazon card. So I made a payment. It hasn't quite gone through yet. But once that goes through, I only have $422 left on the Amazon card.
And we had you 2 months ago, and I want to say you were up in the 2,100.
Yeah, it was.
Mhm.
There was a couple thousand.
That's-
That's huge.
That's more than 30% gone. I mean, you've saved 30% on in your bank for savings amount. You literally knocked off 75% of your, 80% of your debt there.
And when I get paid on Friday, I know I have incentive money, so that's extra money. And it'll be about $400. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pay that Amazon off.
There we go.
That's
So
huge.
on the 5th, my paycheck will come into my account. I will go in the morning and I will just pay it off.
That's going to be a big victory. Make sure you post it on Facebook. I'll hop on your live with you. I'll cheers you no matter what I'm doing. I'll just stop and go to a random bar, do a shot, and here we go. Like this is great. Good for you. All right. Any other victories?
I have paid off a little bit. So in the month of February, according to my spreadsheet, I have paid down $2,050 worth of debt.
That's that's impossible. Want to know why? Because it's the shortest month. Nobody can pay off $2,050 in the shortest month. I mean, I didn't even get a chance to get 5 paychecks that month. Wow, $2,000 in debt, and I mean you're not even. I don't believe you're in the 6-figure range, right? You're not making 6 figures. This is
No, according
you're
to my
average
W-2, I made just a little over 31,000 last year.
31,000. You paid $2,000 off.
Which 31,000, 15, 16 bucks an hour?
Yeah, I mean, right. So, but we're
No, I don't. That's not what I make an hour, technically.
With your incentives.
Yep, with incentives. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but we're sitting here with a person that's making 31,000 a year,
Mhm.
paying off 2,000 a month
Mhm.
on debt. This is just these numbers. Like anybody can do it. You just gotta put the
You gotta
action to it.
be committed.
I gotta say, when I get messages from Vanessa, I'm always really excited to see what's happening. And I mean, sometimes they're not great messages. You know, we had
Like the last one.
the last
So-
one. I was out on Saturday night. I bought Matt and Mike dinner after a full day of break room therapy, and Vanessa sent me a message. I'm like, I'm drinking. I can't deal with this right now. So that wasn't a great one, but so many times I get a message from her, and I'm just so excited.
I'm
to
excited. It's a
celebrate.
win. It's like when you're trying to lose weight and you have your scale victories and non-scale victories. That is that is a victory. A victory is a victory.
Well, you're one of those people that you look at debt much the same way Nick and I look at debt. You don't sit there and go, okay, I need these small victories to motivate me.
Yeah.
Every victory motivates you, and you don't mind the long haul to get to that one you really need.
Mhm.
You know, Amazon getting paid off the end of this week, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, because what was your minimum on that?
It was like a little around 50 a month, because that one only had was like just under 3,000. That carried a heavy. And my Disney card is at 7,500, so I've still knocked quite a bit off of that as well.
But I mean, and you've been primarily focusing on the Amazon one. So now we're going to be able to take the minimum plus the money we were paying on this, and we're going to go right for the Disney. So I mean, if we keep these numbers up, I mean, we're 3.5 months from paying off the Disney one.
Well, the 2,000 does include my student debt payments as well, so
Sure.
my student loans. So
Which still, I mean, that's huge. I mean, so even if I guess by July you're going to be out of credit card debt.
I'm working.
Well, I mean, even looking at it, we can estimate we're going to have some money coming up. So we're going to have a tax return coming up, which hopefully makes some money on your tax return. Even if
Well, that's what I messaged you about too, is that's where I was like, so.
we'll get into that. We're going to get another stimulus, most likely.
Mhm.
So you're going to get another $1,400 there. You can throw at something, because I'm sure you and your husband will split that again.
Yep.
So, and actually a little more, because, you have your son that you can take. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's some more money we can throw at something. So, I mean, if you owe 7,000 on Disney at that point, you throw
2,000.
2,000 on it, now you're down at 5.
Right. I mean, we're taxes. I mean, with you're not the kind of person that is playing the tax game to try to get to zero, are you? You're just doing the normal, right? So I mean, even if you get an average return, I don't care, 2,000. I mean, we're down to $3,000. We're right where we started with Amazon, and then now we're 2 months into getting that paid off. And this is huge.
Well, it's just rolling and rolling into paying on these debt payments, which is the most important thing here. We're getting rid of these so that eventually we can hit those student loans, get those paid off.
Well, so if I remember correctly, right, your goal, there's a house by you guys that you want to buy.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, we're so much closer to it. Every dollar you pay off debt, is $5 you can borrow on a house. And we'll get into another episode about why right now is the best time to take on debt, educated debt, I would call it, right? Borrowing from a bank. But, I think that this is, you're taking steps to get exactly where you want to get to. And I think that's huge for us. And you're doing what we started this podcast for. And I commend you for that. That's fantastic. You've jumped my pride up a little bit.
Well, I do want to talk about a few of the setbacks. And I'm honestly,
Are we done with the victories though?
Yeah, I mean, it's only been a couple months, and financially, work-wise, January was a rough month for me. So I took the last 2 weeks of December off, which was time well spent with my family. We had a great time, lots of hunting, lots of family time. But coming back to work, that first week of January was rough. It's always slow that week. Then I had an aunt pass away. It hit me a little bit harder, I think, than it should have, because she is only 2 years older than my dad.
Sure.
So it was kind of and so the rest of January was just trying to clean up, and get it done. But last week I had a really great week at work. This week is gearing up to be a really good week at work. And so I'm really hoping that trend continues. And I should have like an extra $400 in my paycheck this week.
This is huge. I mean, you're creating your own success right here. I mean, this is just fantastic to hear. So,
Well, and we're gonna get into some of the
I mean,
worst parts.
Yeah,
but
we're at $2,000 in paid off. So now let's hear what some of these. These
I'm
setbacks
gonna
are.
play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Just full warning, Vanessa. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
And
here.
that's fine. He went to work. It's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll take on the role of Vanessa's husband. So go ahead.
Okay, so you like Honor. Honor was running a commercial. I think they're still running it. Advertising 0 interest for a year for credit card debt. Like, you can roll your credit card debt into this loan. It's 0% interest for a year.
Sure.
And I thought, that's awesome. Like, if I could get 0%, but I
That
can't.
is awesome.
I can't get that loan because when it's at Honor, they've already denied me an account because of my credit and because of the collections that I had. So I talked to my husband. I kind of buttered him up a little bit and was like, hey, look, and he was like, oh, okay. He was kind of reluctant. I said, well, just call them. I mean, he's already got his truck loan there. And he said he would do it. And I was really excited. I messaged David. I was super excited. I said, I think I broke my husband.
I was excited. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement going on.
I know. And then he changed his mind.
Sure.
He said he doesn't want an account at Honor. He doesn't want to have to open like an actual bank account at Honor. He doesn't want the ding on the credit. And he said, just take our tax return and put that towards your debt and work from there. And I thought, okay, it's not the win at 0%, but it's still $2,400.
Sure.
And then he changed his mind.
So let me play devil's advocate.
Oh no! So he changed his mind on the credit card opening for 0%, and he changed his mind on giving you the tax return.
Yes.
Yes, Mike.
Just because I am an Honor user,
Yes.
I did a couple of years ago get the same spiel that they did.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I mean, because I was already an Honor user, and at that point I had fixed my credit, I got that 0%. But I learned quickly that the only reason to use that card was for that balance transfer. Because other than that, there were no rewards for it. The interest rate on any purchases you made from it were high. And the way that they did it, if you made a payment, was it usually went first toward that 0% interest, so then they could charge you interest on the other purchases you made.
Well, and I get that. I knew it wasn't going to be, I knew that obviously they're going to try and make money somehow, but at 0% for balance transfer, that's all I needed it for.
Yep.
Sure.
And, talking to David and Mike, I could have had that paid off in 6 months, 8 months tops.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a minute. So I know when my wife got into trouble, I ended up having to take on some of her debt, which pissed me off because, now I'm putting my credit on the line and I don't really want to. And I think that's where Vanessa's husband is. He really doesn't want to put his credit on the line because to him, he has a great credit score and he doesn't want to screw that up at all. I think when does this offer end, Vanessa?
I'm not sure. I don't listen to commercials anymore.
So
It
It
probably
would still
doesn't,
be
because like I said,
worth.
I got it 2 years ago, and if they're still running it, they're probably something that they always.
It would still be worth going back to him if you can show him the savings you guys can make. Okay,
I tried that.
and he still was.
No, because I brought up my Chase account
Mhm.
and I showed him. I said, "Look, here's what I was charged in interest for this month. I made a payment, and here's what I was charged interest the second month. So I was charged like $105 and some cents. I've made a $200 payment, and then I was still charged $106 and some change the next month in interest. So only $90 of that of the 200 was actually going towards debt.
Yeah.
And I tried to tell him, if I'm throwing $500, $600, $800 on this a month, it's over the long run, it's gonna save $600 to $800 or more in these interest charges. And he basically, in the nicest polite way possible, said it's my problem.
And, as I say, my wife, when we first got together, she was in some debt. And I say we were dating at the time, right? And she talked about kind of what she was in. She had bad credit. And I helped my wife in the way that we're doing right now. I talked to her financially. I said, look, I remember she got a tax returns back, and she's excited. And I was like, I don't know what you're excited about. Like I was a dick back then, right? I don't know why she's with me, but I was like, I don't know what you're excited about. That's gonna go pay your damn debt. Like, why would you let it go? Well, I can make the minimum payment. Well, if you could, you didn't do it before. That's why the hell you're here. Like, and I put it point blank to her, and she's like, yeah, that makes sense. Now looking back at it, like we probably would have spent that, let's say, $2,000 on something really stupid that we never would use again. I don't know, like my blender that she has at home. But no, so a KitchenAid mixer that cost me $1,000. But like, right,
My
so
wife loves her KitchenAid.
so hey, here, I'll give you the tools and I'll give you the idea, but I'm not gonna. At the time we were dating, so I wasn't gonna open a credit card for her for 0%. Now, like, it's really weird because I'll let my wife take on debt all the time. I guess I should say this in a bit. I let my wife open up 0% stuff all the time, right? She wanted a new couch, and she's like, "Hey, I'll make the payment," and I'm like 0% interest. And again, we talked about this. Like, unless they're offering me a big percentage off, like I'm going to take 0% interest, right? Because I'm going to make money on my money.
Yep.
And I don't really want that. At the time, I was growing real estate, right? So I couldn't have all these open lines. Where my wife, I'm like, cool, like do it. We're married, and the fact is like, if I'm buying a $2,500 couch, let's say, I have $2,500 in the bank. So if for some reason something happens,
You can pay it.
I'm just going to pay the damn thing off. Like if you have one hiccup, like boom, that's it. Like it won't ever happen again, type of a thing. But and it kind of taught her this accountability thing. And I'm not saying I taught my wife this stuff, but like I get what you're saying, because like $100 to have less than half go towards your principal. I mean, it's one thing I look at on all my real estate stuff. Like the amount of interest that I'm paying is huge. I just did it for one of my bigger properties, and my principal was 1/10 of what my interest was. Like it seemed like, and but you look at the ending of the years, and you're like, all right, this is where like I it's funny because right now the owner of the property that I have land contract with, I mean, he made $30,000 off me this year, and I look at the last year of what it is, right, and he's gonna make $1,200, right? And I'm like, dude, like, but it's crazy because like your life's gonna change, my life's gonna change here, and your life is gonna change so much in the opposite direction. So
and I get why he is reluctant or was reluctant to it. I mean, obviously, I'm in this situation. I was bad with money. I've owned up to it. But I thought that I had showed him and I had proved to him that I had changed and that it wasn't something that I was just going to kind of blow off and be like, oh yeah, it's 0% interest. We're just going to go out and party and have a good time. No, I've showed him that, I've stopped the spending. Well, I haven't stopped all of it. I ain't going to deny that. But I'm down 33% in my
You're-
monthly spending.
You're much more responsible than you used to
But
be.
you know, and so when how you guys have been married how long?
It was 10 years last month.
Good for you. Congrats. So
We're still alive.
it's, you know, but and with all respect, right? And I have to say it, I call it out, is just you've gone 9.5 years with bad habits, and you want him to change and change his mindset of your bad habits within 2 months, right? And sometimes it does take time to understand, you know, and there'll be a point where he'll change, and there'll be a point where he'll go, hey, you know what? I seen all your hard work. I mean, he sees your hard work because he gave you however families want to look at it. He gave you, you know, more than half of the other money or whatever. And he, you know, he's giving in his way to show you that he supports you. It's just not 100% full support that you want, right? Like,
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So, I mean, Dawn used to bitch and moan at me that, you know, how long does she have to pay for past mistakes?
Yeah.
And a lot like Nick, a long time. It's just just a long time.
no, I don't
You
have
know,
enough time.
I'm going to let you screw up for so long, but you know, you're going to prove to me over a decade that I can trust you. So like when Dawn used to handle our money and she would screw shit up, I just took it away. I'm like, you can't handle our money. You're horrible with it. I'm just not letting it happen.
Yep.
She handles the majority of the money for the business.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about it. I get to see everything because, you know, we're an open book. But when I look at it, I'm like, all right, Dawn's got this under control. We're good. You know, once in a while I have to step in and say, okay, what's the plan here? And she'll go, this is my plan. And I'm like, all right, maybe do it this way or, you know.
I mean, I still do it now. Like I will check. 1 second, Mike. Sorry.
Mike is in the background just
I'll check with my
There's
wife.
probably a thing that I can raise my hand in.
Let's say I'll check with my wife. You know, I'll just be like, hey, how are we sitting on bills? Everything paid? Yep. Yeah. And now she knows like how I want it. She'll just, I'm broke. I just paid all of our damn bills, and it's like reassuring me that she has it all covered, right? And like I like that, right? And that's why I guess it came to the fact that I'll let her whatever you want to call it, like
Right.
get the debt, right? Like I'll let her open the credit. You know, it took a long time. I can't say if, you know, if my wife would have come to me and said, hey, you know, I want to do 0%. This makes sense. The financial guy in me would have been like, yeah, let's do it. I'm not going to let her, you know, I mean, I probably would have given her a loan myself. It made her pay it. Just because I know that would help the family a little bit more type of a thing. But
Mike, what you got?
Well, I mean, you know this, but I know Vanessa doesn't. But you know, I was married. Probably got married maybe a year or two before you did, Vanessa. But now I'm divorced. When I married my wife, we'd only known each other at that point probably 6-8 months. She had, I think, when she divorced from her first husband, about $15,000 to $20,000 in debt, like credit card debt that they had accumulated together that she then had to split. I thought at a point, and she was a stay-at-home mom, so her only source of income was child support from the 4 kids she had previously. So I thought, you know, between what she was making there and what I was making, which was, you know, still pretty decent money at that point. I mean, I was probably making $50,000-$60,000 a year at that point. You know, I thought that was going to pay off. When we got divorced, our credit card debt was like $25,000. And I'm wondering if some of that was what she had still accumulated from her first marriage that she just had never paid off.
sure. Well, that's, you know, I mean,
I've been very open with my husband. I've had student loans before. I was single mom for 12 years. So he knew about the student debt. He knew about that before we got married. The credit cards were accumulated when we were married during a time when we were not on best of terms. And so he really wasn't aware of it because he didn't talk to me. So whatever, you don't need to know about it.
Sure.
but since then, I've been very honest with him. I've been very open. I've told him how much I owed. I've told him, you know, where I'm at. So I've been very honest with him.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
nothing like student debt is not. That's not a sin. I mean, you went to school to be able to get a job that you probably wouldn't be able to get with just a high school diploma.
Well, we talked about
And-
that. I didn't graduate, and I
Okay.
have currently $74,000 in student debt. Don't choke on your drink.
I-
Um, so, and now, you know, he's going back to school through work. But now the state of Michigan is offering free tuition.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of debating it. Like,
But remember, that's for a community college.
let's see.
yes, there is Lake Michigan Colleges. There's a campus right here in South
Yep.
Haven. And there's one in Benton Harbor. Sorry, I was going to call it Benton Harlem.
I
Um,
was calling it Harlem too, so don't-
I'm sorry. I was like, I had to pause a minute in Benton Harbor. And they do have online classes, and I was enrolled there for a time. But when he went back to, but then I lost my job at my other job that I had. And so I had to drop out because I couldn't, that was self-pay. And I couldn't afford being on unemployment, paying my debt through, you know, and then doing school as well.
Oh, that's
Yeah, because the only time you would get paid more during unemployment was during those first few months of COVID when there was that additional unemployment benefit.
Well, that was during COVID. I was at my current job and I never
Yeah.
stopped working.
Yeah, I'm just,
yeah.
in
my
general,
husband
unemployment
was
doesn't pay
home.
you what you could normally get paid.
Yeah, my husband was home for like 4 months.
yeah. No, so you know, and don't let it discourage you because you think somebody's slowing you down, and they're just not helping you speed up, right? Like you got to look at it. I mean,
Yeah,
you-
and I took it and I'm like, you know, he's not saying I can't have some of it, you know. Right now, it is sitting, the federal is sitting in my savings account. As soon as it came in, I transferred it out so it wasn't sitting there staring at me. I transferred to savings, waiting for the state come in, and I know I'm going turkey hunting this spring, you know, so I do need a new blind. We'll use part of it for that.
gotta have a new blind for turkey hunting. Oh man, that's a huge need.
It's a necessity. And then um we had kind of decided what we were going to do with it, and then he was like, no, hold off, because my daughter, as you know, lives in Texas.
Yep.
She
Is
is
she freezing?
Oh my god, you like the swear words her and her boyfriend had was like not even, they never lost power, but they did lose water where they're at. But she is a prime example of the average American that is one paycheck away from disaster.
Yep.
And now she's several paychecks away from disaster because obviously they were closed for the work where she worked for that week that they had the snow and ice, but then they had a water pipe burst, and so the clubhouse was damaged, and they will not be back to work for 4 to 6 months, and she has no idea what she's going to do.
So I'm gonna say it. You know what your daughter needs to start doing? Listening to Bucks and Brews.
How
I
old?
She is 21.
Oh, then she's okay for Bucks and Brews. That's
Perfect.
another
Yes.
she might need. She might need pennies and pops.
You know, and I was telling them before, she's got a good head on her shoulders. She looks at debt kind of like they do, you know. She learned from my mistakes as a single mom and what I had to go through. And so she's very good with her money. She's very proactive. She saves it when she can. She pays off debt when she can. She doesn't carry credit card debt. But they live, like for instance, cable, their internet and cable. Well, they could afford cable because they were both working, they were both bringing in paychecks, and they could afford it. Well, they were both off for a week, and now she's off for even longer. And so she kind of had, like you had, David, a payment fiasco with they were supposed to be on the automatic payment, it didn't get taken out, so now she's got all these late fees, and she's got return fees, and now her internet bill is over $300, and she got her internet shut off that she didn't even know about until like today, because she thought it was on auto pay. And she had applied for this coding job. And so she's freaking out because she doesn't have internet and she can't be on the seminar to figure out if she wants this job. And she's calling me in tears. And, I told my husband about it, and he's like, well, if you got to send her money, send her money. As of right now, she hasn't asked me. I think she finally, after the adulting tears stopped, she kind of took a breath. Uh, she was getting the runaround from the internet provider, and I told her, and her boyfriend was going to handle it when he got home. And I said, well, write down your questions, write down why, ask them why they did this and why that. And she called me back and she said, Mom, I manned up and I called him myself. And she did it. And so they've got it figured out. I just don't know if they need money right now, but we're kind of holding that return right now in case we need to help them.
Well, that's a big thing. I think what you're doing is right. You're doing what I did all the time. Was I wasn't always the greatest. Like, I'm still not great at it. I spend money on stupid shit all the time. But if I can figure out that something works, I'm going to teach that same knowledge to the next person, because, hey, this worked for me. Give it a shot. If not, like, I might know somebody else. Like, if my strategy doesn't work for you, David's strategy might. If David's strategy doesn't work for you, mine might. Like, I can't.
You wrote it behind us one day. The saying that you hate the most is those who can't teach. And that's a very true statement for many things in life.
Yeah, except for
money.
it's fact.
So, like, I look at Joe Girardi's a great case in point.
Yep.
Fantastic manager, great catcher, hit 210. So you don't want him up with a game on the line.
Yeah.
But you want him making a decision because he's great at decision making. Now, when it comes to money, you can't sit there and go, well, those who can't teach. Because if you can't handle money yourself, you sure as hell shouldn't teach it.
Yeah, I say, and that's, when you talk about that, right? Like, those that can't do teach. No, it's, in finances, right? Like, those that are successful are the people you want to gear yourself around.
Mhm.
You want to copy, you want to implement, right? There's the other saying, right? If you want what somebody else has in life, do what they're doing.
Correct.
Right? That's a big thing for us. Is, I don't know how I didn't go into debt, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've had it in my life. I went to college debt. We talked about that, and it was like I chunked down just like you did. But I lived at home and just was like, all right, this is stupid. I guess I've just always been. I hate monthly bills, like DTE or consumers or anything like that. And it's like I'm the guy that gets on the phone and is like, hey, this is how much I paid you last year. Can I just pay you the same amount and not bug me for a year? Yeah, we'll just, you'll see a bill that says negative. And I was like, no, I just don't want anything. Like, just don't send me shit. Like, it's like, I pay my trash.
Well,
I pay my trash.
She tried to cancel her cable.
Yep.
And just have internet. And they're like, oh, well, you got it bundled, so it's only going to be $10 less. And she's like, what? Yeah. So when she called them back, she kind of was firm with them, which is surprising for her. And they actually allowed her to cancel the cable without any penalties, and just have internet at the rate that it was being advertised for new customers.
Sure.
So she was pretty happy about that. That was a win for her. So
that's a huge win. So what have you had any other setbacks You said you might have spent a little extra money on something that you didn't want to.
Oh, just some clothes.
Just some clothes, which you have to once in a while. We all have to. We all have our thing that we enjoy, but
So, you can say this with money, you can say it with dieting, you can literally say it with anything. If you cut yourself off, you're never going to be successful. You have to allow yourself sometimes to splurge a little bit, whether you're getting a cupcake from Salty Cupcake or
which I
whether,
almost stopped today.
oh, it's so good. Or, if you're, saying, hey, I don't want to drink the Bud Light tonight, I'm going to go for a full calorie beer like Banana Bread.
Or just have Crystal Light.
Or just have
Or everything I've been drinking.
everything
So,
Mike's been drinking.
And it goes to that, like, you know what, like you said, Crystal Light, right? Which that's a great point, right? Like people are like, oh, you can get free water. Water's free. Drink free water, and it's like, I know I've cut out pop out of my life. I've cut out beer sometimes. I went through like
You were vegan for a while.
I was vegan, right? Like, but still, like there's things where, but you get to a point where you're like, man, I just need some flavor in my life. Like I can't just drink nothing. So, I mean, Crystal Light it's not free. Like things always cost you for that little extra, and sometimes that little extra, whether it be Crystal Light, it's worth it, right? Like just budget for it. I mean, as stupid as it sounds, right? It's $5 for a box of Crystal Light or whatever the heck it might be. That $5 has to come from somewhere. Whether it's you didn't go to Taco Bell that lunch, whether it's you didn't go to you just I don't if you're me or you who just they only do Big B once a month. Well, if you want that Crystal Light because it gives you 5 packs and you can do one a week versus your one a month coffee, I mean that's a decision that somebody like you and I are going to make. Where normal people are like, let's just go with it. No, it's got to come from somewhere. I don't care if you put $5 less in your car for gas, even though gas prices are going up. You're like, hey, I'm gonna walk to the damn store. There's so many things and so many places you can cut.
I have a miscellaneous category in my Excel spreadsheet. And that is where I categorize my stupid purchases. I guess you could say, the odds and ends that weren't necessities, they were wants. And there was one month it was like really high, and I think it was November, right? And I looked at that and I'm going, I could probably cut that in half, and I have. February, less than $100 eating out.
It's huge.
I mean,
I spent $400 probably this weekend eating out. I mean, I went out to breakfast, or I probably went out to breakfast Friday. Friday night, we definitely went to dinner. We had drinks. I mean, that was a very large tab.
I forgot how expensive it was to have drinks out until I took Mike out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my eating out budget, half of that was just last weekend, I think. We were just having a night, and we were just like, we're over it. We hadn't eaten out pretty much all month, and so we were just like, and I bought
Maria's.
So so it was very limited last month.
Did you buy Maria's?
No, we don't do Maria's.
I'm so like, we're gonna end this podcast.
We went to Black River Tavern.
Oh, there you go. Which is right down the road from Maria's.
Yes, it's right there on that last stoplight.
Yeah. I go there all the time, and I say drink some beers there. So
It might happen.
No, it's I'm gonna buy a house in South Haven very soon.
We know. We had that talk.
Yeah, every time. But I think it's a huge thing to understand that like your successes have outweighed. I mean, right? Again,
by far,
what you find to be a setback, right, has not cost you a dime. It has not profited you money from it, but it hasn't cost you anything. Yes, you.
I haven't had any. And I will say, in December, for Christmas shopping, I went to Meijer and um, I bought stuff on the Disney card because I was there. I didn't have enough in my account. I was getting paid, but I returned cans. I made extra payments, and I actually put more, paid more on the Disney card than I had spent that month. So while it wasn't a win using it, I had a victory paying off more than I spent.
Sure.
And so I was okay with that.
You didn't rack up more debt, which is, I mean, and again, we, I think that's the difference between us and let's say Dave Ramsey, right? Dave Ramsey is a very gazelle intense. He's a very, you don't falter.
Straight up kooky dukes.
Well, and I think like it's a proven success
It is.
measure, right? Like
He's kind of a douchebag, but
well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
we're not evangelical Christians, so we wouldn't understand.
True story.
But the fact is, we are the people who understand that life goes on, and you've proved it right there. Like you actually made payments above what you spent, so you still made made progress into your debt, into your final end goal, and that's success to us, right? Like if you spend more than you make, that's debt. If you save more than you spend, that's success to us. I mean, we talked about it on a past episode or a coming up episode. We're not sure yet. Right. So Mike went and got a gig job, right? Because he's like, hey, I make money, I do this, but I want more retirement. Or he's going to do it for dividend stocks because he was very interested. Like he said, look, this
or
is
pay for my kids' college. Yep.
something. I mean, right. But he said, hey, look, I'm gonna trade my time for money. And at this point, sitting around, I'm losing money because theoretically, if you're not making it, you're losing it. And now he's going out to make it. I mean, soon he's going to come. Well, he's got the kids, so he can't get the cable bill. When you talk about your daughter with cable and internet, like I am the richest person I know, and that's not being arrogant. I'm the richest person I know that has no cable, no internet at my house. Like I don't, right? I have a phone that has unlimited everything, and people are like, "Oh, well, you need it." No, you don't need it, right? I have lived literally so much of.
I need it for work because I work from home and I need it, but
I do agree. I mean, right? I come here now because we talked about how crappy my internet was at home.
Yep.
But the fact is like there's times where, I grew up with cable, okay, and that was I don't find it. I don't mean disrespect to people, but my mom was like, hey, go watch TV, go, it was always go outside. Doesn't look like I was outside very often, but that's just an easy way to cop out to get your kids to just not be around type of thing. Like,
I can tell you there's somebody on this podcast right now that never had cable at home.
Benson, I would assume.
Well, my parents never paid for it.
Well, it's just a stupid fee. I had internet when my wife was in school. It wasn't a necessity. She can go to the library, but it got to the point where it was like, she was turning into the night owl type thing, and so it was like, you know what? After 10 o'clock here, now you have it. I started my T-shirt business, and it was easier than me going to. It was funny because I remember like how and people are like, oh no, you can make your life easier. Sure, I agree with you, but if I can write down all the stuff I need off the internet, I go to Big B, use free, or go to the library, use the internet, get all the stuff I need, save it to my computer, go back home. Like, again, I just found ways to make myself not have to spend this money. If somebody else is willing to spend that money, I'm willing to use that, right? Like, it just, I don't know. I mean, David picks up pennies. I use people's internet.
So I want to ask about this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike, before I ask.
Like I said, I'm kind of like Vanessa. On the days that I have my kids with me, I work from home. They're doing school virtually right now. And so, I work from home when I have them. So I have to have internet. Now I've heard
I disagree.
once 5G is, basically everywhere, that might
still don't
take
have
away my
5G.
need for having a separate internet connection because 5G supposedly is supposed to power everything.
So, here and here's it. So my daughter was homeschooled or whatever at home for 2 months. Okay. I wasn't getting internet for 2 months. If I would have known it been longer, like I would have done it. No problem. No questions asked. This isn't, but so like week one, I borrowed a friend's unlimited data iPad. I borrowed my brother's. We went to the library and you can get hotspot. So I did that. My wife can get hotspot in her name the week after I got mine. Like you can borrow this stuff. And it was like, all we need to do is just get by this little bit of time, right? And people are like, oh, I don't want to have to do that. And it's a pain. Yes, okay. Is it a pain? Is life easy? No, but like, again, I'm not going to sign up for something. $50 didn't bother me. It wasn't the 50, it was just literally like, I can spend 10 hours on the phone trying to get internet set up for 2 months, or I can spend 5 hours and just,
I can see, there are things that I can see that, but like Mike, I'm sure your kids are older.
My kids are, I've got a 6th grader and a 5th grader. So
Yep, I've got a
they're in
3rd
school.
grader. So, and he does 100% virtual. So, and with me working from home,
if it's 100% virtual and you working from home, right? Like I do agree, you have to have internet. Like if it's a constant, I agree. But like if it's me who it's happening once in a blue moon or what, like my daughter loves PBS Kids. Like we'll call it out. And my niece and nephew, they're like, we don't watch PBS Kids. That's blah blah. We watch Nickelodeon. It's like, guess what? You both watch, and to me, it's like you both watch cartoons, and I'm sitting here going, my daughter learns so much more from PBS Kids than she'll ever learn from me about like science and all this. Like
Wildcrats,
Wildcrats. Like I watch Wildcrats every morning. So,
is it the Science Kids still on PBS Kids?
Of course. So
I liked that one.
I only get half of an episode. I only get half an episode because I have to drive her to school during the half.
I'm the only guy here that doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's all right. So,
you know what I know?
Daughter's 26 years old.
Yeah. What's that?
I loved Mr. Wizard.
No, so it's
Mr. Proton.
Yes.
Oh yes. And say no when you can really define needs and wants, that's when I find you become successful, right? Like I don't need internet. Will it make my life easier? Sure, at times. Cable, I don't honestly find anybody that needs it, right? Like because it's funny.
Cable's a nice to have.
We had cable,
Yeah.
okay? We did. We had cable and it was nice. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, let's get rid of it. Because it went up, whatever. And so I was like, if I want to go watch a game, I'll go to the bar. Well, me at the bar is not a great thing.
No.
Come to find out, one setting of a freaking Tigers game when they're losing, I'm spending just as much as I would have on damn cable.
No, you're paying more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's that, and then I'm like, oh, dude, all right, within one game, of 1 month, like I could have watched 15 other, but no. But again, I realize I don't need to watch every game. I could be doing something else. Like that's or hey, I can go find real estate deals. I can go grow my business. I can go do something financially successful for myself.
So I want to ask this question before I forget.
No.
Vanessa had taken and cleared up most of the collections, but I think there was still one hanging on, wasn't there?
yes,
Uh-oh.
there was one.
What happened with that one? Is anything
Okay, so that was the one where the guy was a douche canoe.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard back from him. And I had said, well, it is my responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Not shortly after actually it was like January, I think. Randomly, I get this letter from the collections agency saying, we are willing to make a deal. And I was like, sweet. And then I figured it out and they were only going to save me like $50, maybe 100. And I was like,
no, thank you.
Yep. I was like, y'all can wait. And I just made a bigger payment on my Disney card.
Well, but now is the time to call them because like they're saying that they're opening the thing and you just go, hey, look, you want to make a deal? Again, I'm going to offer you my same deal. And again, it's in collections. It's not going to keep hurting your credit more. I mean, you're not buying your house. You're not buying your house yet.
I figured I would get the Disney or the Amazon card paid off and I would and they haven't contacted me. They haven't tried to call me. That was the only contact I've ever received from them in 6 months. So obviously they're not too hurting for it, I guess, or else they would have tried, numerous attempts. And so I figured I'll just sit and wait and just pay off the interest bearing accounts first until they start squawking a little bit harder, and then I'll figure that one out.
So Nick told this story on a previous episode, but I want him to tell it again because I love it so much. Your dentist bill that you called and haggled on.
Oh, yeah.
Vanessa, you're gonna love this.
So I go to the dentist. I had a tooth removed, and they take X-rays, and so I don't even remember what the cost was. $86.
Something like that.
It was tiny. And I call and I said, hey, I'd like to get a discount on this for paid in full. And she goes, oh, we don't give that after you've paid insurance. And I said, all right. And she goes, so you'd like to make a payment? And she goes, how much? And I was like, $1.
No, you said 1 penny.
Was it a penny? Yeah,
It was a penny.
I said, I'll give you a penny. And she goes, we don't take that. And I was like, no, you have to take my payment. I was like, I'm offering you payments. And she goes, so if I give you a discount, you pay it, but now you just want to pay a penny. And I was like, that is correct. I was like, yes, you're not bringing me to collections. And she goes, what do you want for a discount? And I was like, I don't care. I was like, I just don't want to pay the full amount. So she goes, all right, so if I just make it an even like $80, so it wasn't even 10% or something. She goes, if I make it like an even 80, you'll pay it right now. And I was like, full amount in hand, like guaranteed with this card. And she goes, she goes, all right, you know what, we'll take $80. And I was like, cool. I was like, consider it completely paid. I have no problem.
I was so proud.
I do it all the time. Like, what's up, Mike?
Yes, Mike.
Well, it makes me think because, last week I had, as you guys know, I had an MRI for my ears to see, what might be causing me to lose my hearing.
Yep.
What?
And, the initial payment was, they were looking to charge me a little over $1,000. But, they couldn't run the credit card because their credit card machine was down. So I'm waiting for the actual bill to come in. And honestly, I'm going to be like you. I'm going to be like,
Oh, dude.
what are you willing to take?
Yep.
If they're willing to take 700 of the 1,000, I'll pay it right off the bat.
Yeah, well, so you figure, if you can get 10% right away, or normally I get 20% for anything. Usually over $500. I've been pretty fortunate with because they're so used to people not paying, and right now with the pandemic, I'm assuming people aren't paying like crazy. So when you get it, just as long as it's not a copay, right? Like
it's not. This is what the insurance wouldn't cover.
Right. So at this point, like honestly, you're gonna call them up and you're gonna do exactly that. You're gonna say, hey, what is my paid in full discount? And they're gonna go, you don't have one. You're gonna go, great. I'd like to pay $1.
And I'll pay like $10 a month.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, here and they're gonna go, what? And they're gonna go, well, why did you ask about paid in full discount? And you're gonna go, because I'll pay you if I get a discount, but otherwise I'd rather take my free interest and just pay you slowly. Like, yeah. It doesn't bother me either way. And they're gonna go,
because unless they send you to collections, these hospitals aren't charging you interest the way a credit card company does.
Well,
even if they send you to collections, you're not getting charged interest.
Right. They're gonna put you on a care plan, and
the only way you're gonna get charged interest, and I know this for a fact, is if you still are not able to pay, and then they send you to a lawyer.
Yep.
And then they do that way, and then you still have some stupid fees or whatever.
But
I've had those.
You're making your payments, so like every judge is gonna look at it and they're gonna go, well, you made your payment, and they're gonna go, well, he offered to pay it in full, and the judge is gonna go, did you offer to pay it in full? And you're just gonna go, yes, I did. Well, why didn't you at the time? Well, because I wanted to pay it in full discount. If not, I need to make sure I have money for other bills. I'm not loaded, and the judge is gonna go, okay, and he tried making payments, and the judge is going to go, take the damn payments. And even at court, you're going to be able to go to the judge, I'll pay it in full for a discount. And they're going to go, what discount do you want? And even at that time, they'll offer 5%, 10%. And you'll negotiate in the side room, right, in front of the magistrate. And you're going to go, well, now that we're here, we're this far in, you've added more court costs, you've added fees, I want 25%. And you pay them the exact same amount.
And I think I've told this story before. When, Dawn and I filed bankruptcy, we filed on our own, no lawyer. And we're sitting in front of the judge, and, he's going down the list of debts that we have. And one of them's to City Financial. And he goes, what's the deal with this one? Well, I sent them a $5 payment and they sent the check back to me. So I sent them another $5 payment and they sent the check back to me. He goes, "Oh, so you don't owe this payment at all. That's just wiped out."
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you look at it from like, when you and Don helped Mikey get out of that.
Yeah.
Don called everybody and basically settled for something less than what he owed.
Yes.
Oh, extremely less. And
So places are willing to do it. You just got to be willing to put in the work to do it. Like I said, when they
Not
went,
all places though, as I was telling David.
well, not
and-
all, no.
Yeah, because I had one collections that I called on and she said, we don't settle for anything less than 500. And my bill was only 150. So I just had to pay that in full.
well,
Yeah.
and once you're in collections again, like there's gonna be a point. I mean, because they'll sit on it for forever, and yeah, they'll be right on that. But still, like they bought it for 10 cents on the dollar, and
Yep.
that's that's their business mindset is to, even if they bought it for 20 cents on the dollar, like if you're paying 50
And
cents on the dollar,
I was thinking about it, and the one that's still in collections, I was like, if they if they sue me for it, because it's all medical, so they can. There's one attorney's office in Michigan that does a lot of this medical debt stuff, and I have had more luck working with them than I have collections agencies. The one of them I had a few years back, my case manager was so nice. And I called him, I get served papers, and I called him the next Monday and I said, I'm willing to make payments. I said, but and he's like, okay, what can you do? And I told him, and he said, okay. And then we got into a financial situation. And I had to call him and I said, look, I'm not trying to get out of this. This is what happened. They were more understanding and more willing to work with me than the collections agencies.
well,
So at this point, since I had to deal with douche canoe over at, RMP, send me, serve me. At this point, they're not going to immediately garnish my wages because, they're going to wait till I don't pay, or I'll contact them, work with them. I'm more than willing to do that. But you don't need to be rude to me. I mean, yeah, I screwed up. I didn't pay a bill.
well, and that's
Shit happens. You
Yeah.
don't have to be
You'll-
rude about it.
I
The
work
only
with-
bill, the only bills it's not really a bill, but the only thing from my experience, I'm willing to pay in full without any question is my child support, because it goes to my kids.
Sure.
And so, like I said, I let that be removed from my paycheck every 2 weeks. And I'm like, you know what? Because like I said, even though it goes to my ex-wife, it's for my opinion, it's for my kids. It's to pay for their groceries, their house payment, their electric, their internet, their whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But
I work-
otherwise, I'm willing to be like, like I think the last thing I had that officially went to collections was before I got married. It was when I moved from an apartment to a house. A house closed a little quicker than I expected it to, so I had like a 2-month overlap between when I moved into my house and I had to start paying my mortgage and when I was trying to pay rent. And at that point, I wasn't as well off financially as I am now. So I opted to not pay my rent. And so my old landlord took me to collections. But similarly, we went in front of a, intermediary or whatever it would be, at the court. And I said, yep, I'll make a one-time payment for 2/3 of what I owe, and they were happy with that. I was fine with that, and it worked. Like I said, you can work that through. But at that point, I wasn't going to pay rent and mortgage at the same time, so I made some money off of it.
I'm saying that's exactly it. Like, as a landlord, he at least followed through, and I give him credit for that. Being a landlord, I mean, it's a business that you have to run. But, I worked with a lady. We go back to medical debt, and her husband got into a big accident, and I mean, I think they racked up like a 1 point something million in debt, right? Like, I think he was going through chemo, did a bunch of stuff, like, got into a big accident. Nothing went well for these people, right? And so they tried making their payments, and like David, like they sent it back and they sent it back. So they go in front of the lawyer, or they go in front of the judge, and judge is like, or they're like, we tried making payments. We're trying to work with them. They're not cooperating. And the judge looks at him and goes, so they've made attempts. You've denied it. They've proven all of everything. He goes, all right, I'm going to settle it. He goes, you'll get payment every week. $1 out of her paycheck will automatically be deducted. And so every week she goes, no lie. She goes, it literally states $1 is completely withdrawn or garnished from her paycheck every single week. She goes, when I retire Social Security, they'll take $1 because it has to go. Even though I thought Social Security was like ungarnished, but nope, $1 out of everything for the rest of her life will automatically go to this company. So
$52 a year.
Yep. But no, she can only do it weekly. She cannot make the full time payment.
No, I'm just saying
Yep.
it's $52 a year.
Yep. And out of the 1 point something million. And if she passes, it's done. That's it. So
Yeah, it doesn't pay for them to be rude. So I don't understand why they have to be rude.
They're rude because
scare tactics.
Yeah, if they're
I'm scared.
70% of the people that they're rude to are going to sit there and go, all right, either I'm afraid or I'm upset or I'm just going to pay it so I don't ever have to talk to this person again. They don't have the ability to say, oh, so you're going to treat me like shit? Fuck you.
Mhm.
And when they run into those people, all it does is piss them off. I mean, so there's a great documentary out there if you have a chance to watch. It's called Maxed Out. It discusses credit card debt and other types of debt, and they talk to a lot of these collectors that, like Nick said, what they do is they buy just books of debt and they'll buy it for 20 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
So they're buying Vanessa's $2,000 debt for $200.
Yep.
So sure, they could settle it for $1,500 and they're still way up.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
But if they're a dick to her, they might get the full 2,000. So they're going to be a dick as long as they can and hope to, make $1,800 on it instead of going, all right, well, if you pay it right now, you can pay it for $1,500 and I'm still up 12.
And actually they would be at more because that's less that their employees have to work at it. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
so whatever. It's
if
sitting there.
They only spend 15 minutes per person. I mean, if you're getting
They don't even spend that.
$15, right? Like, but me, I'll just put you on speakerphone and let you talk to the kid now because I mean, Grant, I'm not.
So
I do this all the time. I just hear Emerson talk to him.
Any-
Hi.
anybody that is not my friend, I should literally upload this to YouTube. So Amazon support called Dawn the other day. Did you watch it?
No, but I say I've gotten called by Amazon support quite a few times.
Vanessa, have you seen the call from Dawn to Amazon support?
I did not listen to it, but I've seen it and I can only imagine.
You should
what was
totally listen
said.
to it. So Dawn's on the phone with Amazon support in quotes,
Yep.
for like 2 minutes. So, he's giving her the runaround and he's got a heavy accent. And finally I walk over, I'm like, I want to talk. And she goes, can I put you on the phone with my husband? Because I'm just a stupid woman. And they go, sure. So hands me the phone and I wait like, I don't know, 15 seconds. And then I go, who am I speaking with? This is Edward Cullen. I said, oh, it's Edward Cullen. How are things in Twilight? He goes, no, not Twilight. Amazon support number, blah, blah, blah. I went, oh, okay. You know what I think? I think you should suck my big fat. And then he hung up on me.
I got those calls, and this is how you should react, I guess. Like, so I got those calls and it was like, my wife has an Amazon account, so I don't know why I would get phone calls or whatever. And it's like,
You
hey,
get it because they're trying to scam.
yeah, your Amazon this, your Amazon that, your Amazon account has been purged and you need this. And I was like, all right, click. I just hang up and I log into my bank accounts and I'm like, doesn't look like shit's been taken. So if they purged it, man, whoever got that shit for them, because I ain't paying for it. That's all I like.
Why I got a Social Security one last week on my phone.
Yep.
So, you know, I get the chick on the phone and they're going to come and arrest me. I said, I think you should suck my ass. And she goes, you suck my ass and go fuck yourself in a mirror. And I went, is that okay?
So we're gonna say it publicly. I own quite a large. I mean, it's medium size, small size, like a complex, right? Apartments. And I get this phone call, and the lady goes, "Are you interested in selling 123 West?" I have no interest in selling it. She goes, "Well, do you have a number in mind?" And I said,
I like this
I
story.
said, I guess if I were to sell it, I'd say 1.2 million bucks. And
Yeah.
she goes, what? She goes, why would you waste my time? I'm not wasting yours. And I was like, well, first you asked if I had interest in selling. I said no. And then I gave you a number that you wanted. And I was like, I just became the bad guy because she thinks I'm wasting. And I can't say I'm far off, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yes, am I asking on a high side of things? Sure. But like, I'm just sitting here going, holy crap, how did I become this? So I'm pretty I'm pretty recognizable with voices. I'm pretty sure I get a call that next week. Hi, are you interested in selling this, this property? Yeah, 1.2 million. Okay, thanks. And I'm like it hit me because like it's kind of an area that wouldn't have that big of a
Yep.
thing. Like I think they think it's a duplex or something, or like or like a single
Well,
family. And
My
so,
sister recently sold her house.
yeah.
And I got a text that said, I'm looking for Vanessa. And I saw your house at this address. And it was they actually provided an address, which was my sister's address.
Yep.
Would you be interested in selling? And I'm like, first of all, she just sold the house. I've never been associated with that house. So I don't understand how they got my number associated with that address. Like it still boggles my mind. I'm like, I know it's a scam, but
Nope. Not a scam.
but how would they associate my name with her address if we have different last names and have for the past 21 years, 22 years?
You don't share any accounts of anything together?
No.
Huh.
And have not.
So
the last time I lived with my sister was when her son was 1 and my daughter was 2.5.
sure.
But we would still had separate last names, separate bank accounts. We just rented a townhouse together.
So like
And that was 20 some years ago.
we'll get into this in another episode, I think, of how to find properties and stuff. But like I do this all the time where I get a list and it just shows properties and it gives me associated numbers, right? So
Yep.
it could be that somebody, is your sister the same first name or like letter of a first name?
Nope.
Or you have different last names, but like, I mean, I don't know how they come up with it, but like, honestly, I go to buy any property and it has 4 or 5 numbers associated with this. So
They come up with it because they have that.
yeah,
They're from the same family, so it's a known associate,
Yep.
and then they
So,
just
like,
lump together stuff.
I text 5 numbers, right? Or I call 5 numbers and say, hey, I'm calling about this property. I don't own that property. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Why are you calling me? Quit calling me. Like I get told, all the time. Like, but if one of the 5 works, like, dude, I'm excited. Like, if you're the sister, like, on the real estate side, we're getting into things, but
But
if you're on
she
the
had
real-
already sold it and it was living in her new house.
Necessarily.
months.
I say I pull a list, and you could have sold it 2 months ago, but I pulled my list, and it doesn't update like constantly. I mean, these lists are just random things, and so I would just call and say, hey, oh well. Even at that, like it gives me an opportunity to say, hey, are you interested in selling your house? If you know how much your sister made, like I will sales pitch just to try to get to buy a
So-
house. Like I'm doing it in South Haven right now. Like I'm not lying.
We talked about, Mike's neighbor issue.
Yep.
In the last episode,
Yep.
which was like 2 hours ago. So of course, Mike tells me what's going on, which, for Vanessa, Mike found out one of his neighbors is a sexual predator. I started looking for the guy. I found 3 listings that supposedly he still lives in Plainwell. Mind you, Mike, on Pine Lake.
Pine Lake.
So, I had to dig a little further to find the most updated address, which happens to be next to Mike.
Yep.
But it's obvious he doesn't live at Pine Lake anymore.
Yeah. Well, and
Is Pine Lake where he had his meth lab?
Possibly.
so, all right, I want to end this, I guess, with a like, subscribe, and a share, because that's what we always do. But Vanessa, I want to let you know, really, from the bottom of my heart, like, you're doing fantastic. You're going to be You're going to be successful. I know you know it, right? People always tell me, "Hey, kid, you're going to be so successful, you don't even know it." But I think you do. Like, I think you already see the victories, the wins, instant gratifications. I expect, again, a Facebook Live. Like, I want to see you chop up that Amazon card. Just gonna be huge for you. Like, even if you keep the card around and you pay the debt off every month, I want an update every month. Paid it off this month. Paid it off this month. Paid it off.
Yeah,
this month.
it would still carry Amazon Prime and Amazon Video. So,
Yeah.
but my payments due the 5th. Those are charged, I want to say the 13th and 16th of every month. So I would be able to pay it off the 5th before I actually get charged interest.
See, I mean, and I want to see this. I every month I'm gonna look forward to it, but.
Well, and we're gonna talk to Vanessa again, because I want to keep hearing all of these updates till everything is paid off.
Yeah, let's see, and we'll have you on in a couple months. Bud Light, thanks again for always being tried and true. Let's see.
Atwater, one of my favorite breweries, and Eagle Brewery, very good. Mike,
Outside Ales, Roke Brewing, Atwater Brewing.
oh, I have a question. How did you like the French toast double dog?
Yeah.
It was good. I wonder if I should have had it during the first episode and maybe appreciated it more.
You could have breakfast in the morning and then finished with that stout for later. So
Could have done that.
Yeah, maybe I should have
guys,
switched that with the milkshake stout.
we're hoping that you like the episode. We're looking for feedback. Anybody that has debt, I mean, we're not looking for the people that are successful. We'll get you on a different episode. But anybody that has debt wants to talk about it. We had another guest on, and I sent you a message that was like, "Hey, I just want to follow up and make sure."
Yep.
So, like, we're still young into our podcasting career. We're not huge success. We personally reach out to people. I mean,
We want to know.
we want you to be as successful as you want to be, right? I mean, I really appreciate Vanessa for joining us and telling us your victories and your setbacks.
I've said it before. In most aspects of my life, I'm not celebrating anybody else's victories. But when it comes to money, I love victories. Let's celebrate them.
I don't know. It's funny because I just mentioned that today because a friend of mine got a house in Jenison under contract, right? And I'm very happy for him, but like it pisses me off because Jenison's my backyard, right? Now,
Right.
I'm doing something wrong because I need to get that house, right?
Right.
Like, so he's doing something better than me, and it just makes me drive even harder, even faster, even farther. Like these are things that I need to be doing. So,
Well, I look at, not to extend this anymore, but we like to do that.
we do.
I look at the fact that Mike's sitting here running around doing DoorDash, and I'm like, man, I wish I had extra hours in the day. But between my regular full-time job and
Ooh.
break room
You don't
therapy,
have-
coaching,
maybe over the summer you could have time.
yeah, maybe if
If you're not at my house swimming.
yeah, I'm probably not gonna have time in the summer.
Yeah, see, I don't have time for a side gig, so
So how does
I
this?
find when I don't have my kids, I may as well do something other than
We need a
not sit at the couch.
my husband
watch
works
TV.
third. So Jake is pretty excited this is extended because his bedtime has been extended about an hour and 10 minutes.
You're welcome, Jake.
Because he was supposed to go to bed when his dad left for work, and his dad's like 20 minutes, and he's like, I will. I still hear the TV.
So it's what, like, subscribe, which is the bell, share it, which is like the arrow that shows that you're sending something.
Sure.
So do
And then what is it that you always say?
smash a button somewhere. You young hipster kids know how to do this stuff.
If they think you're good looking and David's ugly, they do something else.
If you think I'm good looking, smash that like button. If you agree with me that David's not great looking, hit the dislike button. That's just how we do it. We're trying to vote for each other.
I just know that luckily, unlike my buddy who has a YouTube channel, we don't get 3 dislikes every time.
Oh my, I feel so bad for Matt.
Twant.
I'm
We'll talk about that off the air.
gonna get 3 dislikes. So
So-
take care, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.